Hey, it's your old pal Chris. So here's a calculation that I sometimes have to do as a person who works in the city but lives 40 minutes outside of the city. And that calculation is this: has it reached a certain point in the day where the traffic is going to be so ridiculous that I might as well stay at work for another hour to hour and a half because I'm just going to sit in traffic for that long? That's kind of the point I reached today. I had a lot to do, and I was in a bunch of meetings from around 11 o'clock through 4 o'clock. I was in meetings. And I had some stuff that just needed to get done at some point tonight or early tomorrow morning. And it started to get to be closer and closer to 5 o'clock. And I just said to myself, you know what? Traffic is gonna suck. It's raining out. I don't know if you can see, there's some rain. Traffic is gonna suck. I might as well just stay here and get it done now. And I'll pick up dinner on the ride home. And yeah. It is one of those things, as I'm getting older, as I'm realizing that podcasts in particular are having are less and less entertaining to me, and I kind of don't. Audiobooks are so comforting that sometimes they put me to sleep, which is not a good thing when you're driving. Anyway, this is all to say that as I'm getting older, as I approach 41 in just a couple of days here, the commute has gotten old. I've been commuting into Boston from the northwest suburbs and from southern New Hampshire for almost all of my adult professional life. And I've tried it all different ways. I've taken the bus, I've taken the train, I've driven in. I've driven in to a subway station and then taken the subway. I've driven directly into a parking space near my office, which is what I do now. But just eventually it just gets to you. The sitting in the car for, what should be a 40-minute drive maximum without traffic, turning into an hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours. It can get ridiculous, especially with New England winters, even New England autumns, which is what we are in the middle of right now. Autumn, fall, if you will. And the spring, people forget how to drive in the gosh darn rain. And what makes the commute extra maddening is on these nights when I have to get something on the ride home, there are only a couple of options, and the one I prefer is out of the way and requires me sitting through an additional 2 rotaries. And a rotary is a traffic circle for those of you who live outside of New England. I have to sit in 2 additional rotaries, and rotaries are the worst. They just are. They shouldn't be, but when a rotary has too many roads coming into it and people don't obey basic sort of laws of traffic and of recognizing they're not the only fucking drivers on the road, then rotaries get to be nuts because people don't just accept that at a certain point you need to yield. At a certain point you need to yield just to keep shit moving. And if people would just yield, I don't know, if people were just nicer to each other, the world would be a nicer place. The more you know. Da-doom, doom, doom.